Alright everybody, I just wanted to slow it down a little bit. I got valve covers all cleaned up, ready to go back in. The next thing we have to do is install these wonderful rocker arms. I probably could have gotten away with installing them if I would have just to install the intake gasket. Long story short, the intake gasket needs to be laid first, then the push rods, and then the intake. So because there's silicone involved, I had to lay my silicone, and because of the nature of my silicone, I didn't have a lot of time to go ahead and do the rocker arms first, then the intake before the silicone dried. So long story short, I've got to do here, which will be easy. I got to do back here, which I got a ton of room. I'm gonna check the tack on my silicone. Everything's looking good, and we're excited to get this thing back together. So I'm gonna go back to time lapse to do these rocker arms. All I'm gonna do is make sure the oil galley holes are clear. They've all been covered up, so they don't really have to be cleaned. I'm gonna spray them off. I'm gonna lube up valve stem surface, push rods, get everything just ready to go. Torque it down. Valve covers on. Man, get this thing put back together. I'm so excited. This thing has been apart for way too long. So thanks for tuning in, and shout out Devin Solnick for all the love. And we're gonna do a video on his truck tomorrow. So we're looking forward to getting that all squared away. Over and out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've time-lapsed our way into the upper intake going on, and I realized off camera that I had the dipstick on the wrong side of this EGR tube. The EGR valve, excuse me, they're like this, and I couldn't get them, so I actually had to disconnect the dipstick, lift it up, set it back down. So now I'm gonna tighten this up, and then I'll have to retighten that dipstick tube down there. I replaced the lines here. This one here for the coolant to the throttle body. This one, the back one, is a 90 degree, so I wasn't able to just replace that. It's looking good. This one I gotta kind of trim and install. I'm about to torque the upper intake. I'm not gonna super torque it yet because, excuse me, I wanna make sure I can get this tube on first, so let's do that real quick. If I can find my 1/4 inch. This is the actual pace I move here, okay. So I'm gonna try to, well, let's see here. Did they it on there? Alright. So, nice and loosey-goosey. I'm gonna press this on a little bit further. A little bit further. I'm going to retighten all hose clamps. It's tricky using a cordless ratchet. Always get a good visual on your hose clamps. That way you're not, you're not off the back end of it. Alright, that's bloody tight, I'd say. Alright, now, this one I can get on in the back here. That's basically it. This one I need to actually trim a little bit. Sit like that, so I want very even. What's going on, buddy? Trying to get a nice straight cut, and I can just totally crap out of it. Alright, now we're gonna try to bend this whole girl on here. This is the trick. You gotta, there we go. Make sure our tubes are alrighty. There we go. Those are on. Just gotta tighten these front clamps. Get me a good old-fashioned extension. Hope y'all can see. probably really can't even see what I'm doing, but these little hoses down here. Y'all know. Just kidding. Alright, I think we're locked and loaded there. Okay, I'm just hoping those don't leak. I would have liked to replace, I did replace this one. This is a straight hose. This 90-degree one, and it's in a kind of a tight spot, so, and of course it's spinning like this. So I tightened it out and it's just spinning, so I think I need to get a different hose clamp on it. Or I come out from this angle here, because alright, everybody, I'm gonna go ahead and fix this. Over now. Okay, everybody, we are finally at a point where, so I've got the van lowered, I've got the subframe installed, I've got everything hooked up. This front cross bar here isn't hooked up, so I can add coolant. The only thing I haven't added is coolant. It's full of engine oil. It's got enough transmission fluid to figure out where it's at once I get it running. I tried to show this in the time lapse and it was just nothing. But we've gotten down to this point here. So let's see here. We're gonna do this live on air here. So we've added engine oil, we've added trans fluid. Now we're gonna do a test start and then we're gonna add coolant. So I'm not going to add all the coolant and get everything figured out just to learn that something's wrong. So, I said a prayer earlier. I've got it lowered. I've got the engine full of oil. I've got everything hooked up. The battery hooked up. I literally have just like a handful of parts left over. I've got the front end off the ground. What I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna sit there and turn the key on to prime the fuel. I'm gonna actually crank it right away so I can try to build some oil pressure in the engine and possibly in the transmission before it fires off. So that's my strategy. That's why I'm gonna hop in and just go to town on it. So I'm gonna get some gloves. It's kind of surreal that this moment is actually here. I'll be flat out honest with you. Everything has been apart since Christmas. Tomorrow is April 1st. So, full engine oil, everything's hooked up. I got my key right here. Alright guys, let's do it. Do a mental check here. Okay. And there's this van. Alright, so it just started to fire up. So I got a little bit of fluid, I got a little bit of pre-fuel, of pre-oiling. I'm going to open this back door up. Alright, so here it goes. Do that purpose and build oil pressure. Definitely a little ambitious. I tried to see if it went into fourth gear. I couldn't tell. I think it was revving up pretty good. I think it was, but I have no idea still. So it doesn't have any coolant. I don't want it to get warmed up at all. I'm going to check the oil. Well, let's get it off the jack stand. I know it. Let's see here. Actually, let's fill up with coolant. Let's get it up in the air. I immediately got to check my transition fluid next time I start up. The engine oil, I know I've got to check. Because I've got a successful start, we're going to add coolant. We're going to jump to a time lapse and get right back once we live start it.